Melt the resistance and open your heart with Transformation Thursdays.
Hello and welcome to Transformation Thursday. I am here with Jeffrey Ringer. Welcome, Jeffrey.
Thank you, Jay.
He is a healer and a spiritual practitioner with more than 15 years of experience, focusing on mindfulness, intuitive healing, and healing through plant medicine. So tell us all about healing through plant medicine, Jeffrey. It's a hot topic right now, maybe somewhat controversial, but tell us how you got into that. I don't want to start there.
It's fascinating, quite frankly, and I got into it kind of by mistake about a little over 15 years ago. A friend of mine suggested that we go out and do an experience out in the desert at this place called the Peyote Way Church. And he took me out there, and we did an experience. They call it a spirit walk, where they give you a glass of peyote to drink, and you sit by a fire and you have your own experience. And I had no idea what I was in for, and it opened me up to a world or a universe of information that I didn't know even existed. It gave me an opportunity to see things from my past. It gave me an opportunity to connect with spirits, and it set me on the path to healing and spiritual healing that's been just unbelievable.
That's really interesting. When you say spirits, spell that out for us a little bit. A lot of people are not really don't know what this is or exactly what we mean when we say this.
In this particular case, I connected with my father, who passed away when I was 2.5 years old.
Oh, wow.
And I had never connected with him. And I know to some people that sounds completely crazy. And to me, I was questioning it at first. But the fact that he came through to myself and my friend, who was my shaman at the time, he told my friend who he was. And my friend had no idea anything about my father or my father's name or anything. It all came through clear to him.
Wow.
And the information that my father then gave to me after that, when he was talking to me directly, was just it could not be a figment of my imagination. It was absolutely as real as it gets.
Wow. Tell me what that was like I mean, I imagine you didn't have any memories of your father, or very few memories of your father. It must have been a very profound experience to communicate with him, even through another person.
Yeah, it was quite amazing. First, my friend told me that he had come and that he had left me when I was young, because he didn't feel that he could provide the kind of parenting that I required, and so he left it up to my stepfather. And when I actually connected with him directly, he was cowering down behind people on a bus bench, and I went over and I yelled at him at first, and then I realized, then I saw myself in him, and I saw very clearly where my even though I didn't know him, I clearly had picked up different traits and things from him that were very clear that I saw in him at that moment. And it was absolutely fascinating and one of the most special experiences I've ever had in my life.
So you were able to physically see your father through the plant medicine?
So I see things. I'm a very visual person, especially when I'm under plant medicines. I tend to be, I see all kinds of things. And in this particular instance, I saw him, but I couldn't tell you what he looked like or exactly, but I just know it was him, and I saw a figure there.
Fascinating. And so this sparked off a whole journey, I imagine, of now you're more than 15 years ahead, and now you're a healer and you work with plant medicines. How did you get from the beginning to here?
So I've worked with all different kinds of plant medicines over the years. I've done everything from peyote to ayahuasca to wachuma, psilocybin, MDMA, LSD. I've tried all the different psychedelics, and I recently became certified in psychedelics. which has added more credibility to the work that I'm doing with people. Because I started doing journeys with people a few years ago. I started really focusing on plant medicine journeys because I journeyed so much myself. And it was important to me that I had the credentials to back it up. And so I took this this course that certifies you in psychedelics. It originally started out as working with the mind and mind and body connection, and they worked with that quite a lot. And they discovered that they could actually have more success using plant medicines and speed along the process in using plant medicines. And so that's what I've been really focusing on. I've been working on healing traumas, healing addictions, healing repetitive behaviors that we have due to the traumas that we've had in our lives. And so it's really powerful stuff. And I primarily work with MDMA and psilocybin right now with my journeys.
Okay, interesting. So you say that you help heal people's trauma and you help them heal repetitive behavior. Do you have any examples that spring to mind of people that you work with who have been successfully treated with using plant medicine?
Yes, and I'm so excited to talk about it because I've been able to help people get off of antidepressants. One of my biggest success stories is my own daughter, where she's been on antidepressants since she was 12 years old. She stopped them for a while and then she got back on them again. She was actually suicidal at one point. We were able to ease her off of the antidepressants, give her microdosing, start with microdosing of psilocybin, and it takes a while. There's a period where after you get off of antidepressants, your body's not creating serotonin like it used to. And so it takes a little while to start building that back up. So this was a tenuous position to put somebody in, but we were trying it with her first. She actually was able to ease off of the antidepressants and start taking the microdoses to start balancing it out. And then she went into what happens is you can go into a deeper depression as your serotonin levels are dropping and you're not creating it for a little bit, which she did. And then she came to me and she said, "Okay, Dad, I'm ready to do a journey." And we did a journey, and it was like we flipped a switch. And my daughter went from this almost suicidal, panicked, had no idea what direction she was going in her life, and all of a sudden she's just like, "Oh my God, I see everything clearly. I've got my own power. I know who I am. I know what I need to do, and I know where I'm going to go next." And it was so amazing. And she's one of the amazing cases. We've helped people get off of drugs and alcohol. We've helped people with depression. We've helped people. I've got another couple people that I'm working with who have a difficult time being out that they're gay. They grew up in an era where being gay was shunned, and religion, their religious beliefs shunned it as well. And so we've worked with that, and we've helped them communicate with their parents and communicate with people in a way to share that it's okay to be who they are and to be everything that they are without shame.
Wow, that sounds incredible. What would you say to people like there were a lot of examples floating around when I was growing up of people who had taken too much LSD and gone crazy, or people who had some really negative experience with psychedelics. What would you say to people who say, this is really irresponsible? We're giving teenagers psychedelics that were illegal a short time ago. What would you say to that?
It's very interesting because the reality is, and they said this back in the 50s and 60s before it was made illegal, and when they were testing them back then, it's very critical to have a proper set and setting, which means to have the person in the proper mindset and to have the proper setting for the journey that you're doing. The second most important thing beyond that is the integration that you do afterwards. And one of the things that we do in our journeys is we're there to support the people through their journey process the whole time they're on their medicine. They're not left alone. We're not giving them something to do that puts them in a panic state or makes them face their fears. The medicine will take them where the medicine wants to take them. But we're there to support them through the journey, and we're there to integrate it with them afterwards, so we can help them integrate it in their daily routine. So we do following the ceremony, the next morning we do an integration circle with all the people that were in the journey with us, and then we also continue that on for an additional 2 weeks. So we're not just throwing you out and back into the daily life after you saw all this incredible stuff. We want you to really understand what you learned and how to integrate it, so that you can continue on this path that you learned in the journey.
Is there anything else that you're passionate about? I understand that you also do men's work, that you have a Brotherhood circle.
So yes, we've got a group. It's called a shamanic men's group, and it's really a great group. We get men together where we actually get to share and be vulnerable with each other, which is a challenge for a lot of men to do. So we get together in the circle. We have a theme for the circle. We start out the circle by discussing our own vulnerabilities and our own things that we've encountered in our lives, and that opens the door and helps the other guys in the group feel comfortable doing that. So we take it from that stage to, we've got a drum circle where we walk around and we drum and start the shamanic drumming process, which is an amazing journey as well. And then we take it into what's called a shamanic journey, where you actually you drum to a beat, and it takes you into a trance-like state or a meditative state, similar to what we get on plant medicines or similar to what we get in meditation. And we find that the guys in the circle really get to see major breakthroughs also in these types of shamanic journeys. And this doesn't involve any plant medicines. It doesn't involve anything to alter you other than the drumming beat.
Yeah, full disclosure, that I'm fully a part of this Sacred Brotherhood Shamanic Men's Circle, and I've been really touched by the level of vulnerability that men can reach in this context, that in this container that we create. And I know we've talked about this before, but what do you think accounts for this, right? I mean, if I talk to a guy, even some people who come into my healing room, they don't get to quite the level often that we get to in the men's circle. And I'm just curious what you would attribute this to, the level of vulnerable sharing that we get in the men's circle.
Well, the beauty of it is you're just not one-on-one. So it's several men that are in this group. We've had up to 6 or 7 at a time at the moment, and I hope we have more. But what we do get is we get more than one person who's sharing their vulnerability. So even if somebody's hesitant to share after hearing us share, when they hear somebody else who's brand new to the group open up, all of a sudden that gives them the safety and security that they need to be able to feel comfortable to open up. And it's fascinating to me. It's also about the setting, the same thing we do with our plant medicine journeys, because we've created a mindset, and we've created a beautiful setting, and then we set an intention when we go into the journey, which is exactly the same stuff that we do with plant medicines, except that we're doing it with men on a different, just men in a shamanic drumming circle.
I think you're on something there. It has a lot to do with the container that we set, right? But I wonder too if there's some like deep, yearning that men have that I don't think we know we have, because I didn't know I had it before I found it. And that's one of the reasons for one of the reasons for the men's circle in the first place. But I think we really crave the emotional support of other men that I don't think we get very often in our society.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. And one of the things you hear this over and over again in spiritual discussions, but everybody wants to be seen and heard. But society has told men we're not allowed to be vulnerable. We're not allowed to cry. We're not allowed to show these kind of emotions and feelings. And so when we get men together and we show them that it's okay, and we share with them that it's okay, it's really, it's life-changing. And this sacred container and this sacred group that we have, nothing goes outside of it. I'm not going to go share, John had this happen and Steve had this happen, and that we keep it all within our sacred container, and so there's a degree of safety for everybody.
Fill us in about where we can find out more information about any and all of this.
Okay, so the journeys happen, the shamanic men's journeys happen the second Friday of every month at a private residence in Studio City. And you can find that on a website called agnestreehouse.com. And then we also do our plant medicine journeys at the same location. And those happen once a month, but they are not as specified on the dates. The next one, we do have a men's circle coming up this Friday night, and it starts at 8 p.m. And we have a plant medicine. Yes, that'll be June 9th. And then we have a plant medicine ceremony on June 10th, Saturday night, June 10th. And then we have other spiritual events and things here too, which you'll find on that website as well.
So what was the website again?
It's Agnes, AGNES, treehouse.com.
Great. And I will put a link to that in the description.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jeffrey, for your time. It's been great talking to you. And I look forward to seeing you soon.
Likewise.
Take care.
You too.
Please like, share, and subscribe. We equip people with the skills to navigate the ups and downs of life. Will you help us solve the mental health crisis? Please donate to Compassionate Transformation at lovect.net. Thank you, thank you, thank you.